We're now 13 races into the Wawa Cup Series 2023 season, and we head to the first of two races at the place where we will have our finale race in September. Today, it's the 400-miler, short than the 25%, of course, in the South Carolina Education Lottery 400, the Lady in Black, the Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina. Hello, everybody. This is AG here, and welcome to Darlington Raceway, my favorite racetrack in NASCAR. I love this place. It's such a tight, technical race course, but it's fast as well, and we always have some excellent races here in NR2003. We had an excellent race on Wednesday in the Wawa Sprint Series, and like I said, we are going to have the finale race of the Wawa Cup Series here in September, Labor Day weekend for the Mello Southern 500. But today we're going to get a bit of a taste of what we might see in that finale race, and we might not really know who's going to be in that championship battle as of right now because everything's so close in the points. But we're definitely in store for a great race here today, no doubt about it. Joined alongside Josh Williamson and Caleb Rose. Josh, I'll start with you. 74 laps in this race. This is going to be a rather long race, especially around a track like this. And of course, tire wear comes into effect, and keeping your car clean comes into effect. What do these guys need to do to keep it in contention for the race victory here in 74 laps of action at Darlington?
Well, there's the old saying about Darlington. It has about 1.5 grooves, and no one starts the race with half a car. You're going to have to be very calculated with when you make the moves, and most of the moves, I would imagine, are going to be going on heading off into that first turn. That just tends to be the way it goes. And if you're stuck on that outside lane in 1 and 2, oh man, are you going to be in a world of trouble. You might be able to work the outside on the exit of 3 and 4, but that's just what's familiar. Obviously, the ratings may come into effect and shake some things up today, but other than that, this we're definitely in store for what should be a thrilling race here at Darlington. My favorite racetrack, actually, as well.
And it's definitely a great track. Of course, we use the original version of the Darlington Raceway here in the game. And Caleb, we're only 7 races until the cutoff at Nashville at the end of June. I mean, we're only about 6 weeks away from that moment. And one of your drivers, Logan Williams, still very deep in the points standings. He has a good starting position, but what do those drivers who are deep in the points need to do in these last 7 races to have an opportunity in making the chase here in about 6 weeks?
Well, Darlington is just one of those tracks that really eat up tires. The tire fall off here is going to be insane, so I think that personally this race is probably going to be won on pit road because, like I said, once its tire fall off starts kicking in, times are going to really slow down. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of strategies these guys cook up, especially some of these guys that are towards the back, what they can do to maybe try to work their way towards the front.
And of course, if you get a race victory, you throw your hat into the ring of the wild card race regardless of where you are in the points standings. And speaking of the wild card race and the points race, Thomas Troxell's the only guy who has a clear advantage on the field coming into this race, but he does not start top 10. He does not start up front like he has the past 2 races, but he has a 64-point lead coming into today's event. But right behind him, Drew Webb. What an absolute stellar performance at Kansas for him. A lot of other guys kind of fell behind in that race, but Drew Webb came through, got the race victory, his first career win on the channel, and he's now second in the points standings, tied with Matt Tuck, both 26 points ahead. Dylan Matthews, 4th in points, 22 ahead. Nicholas Samedillo, 21 points ahead. Tanner Parton had a great race at Kansas as well. He's tied with LJ Semedo for 6th in the standings, 17 points ahead. Brad Stover, 14 ahead. Aliera, 11 ahead. And then Chase Buck, kind of fallen off after he won at Bristol, 4 points ahead of Ludovic Charette, who was 4 points behind the cutoff. Then you have Echo Evans-Ross. We had her in the booth on Wednesday night. She's 17 points behind. Rogel Dorn is 18 points behind. And then your 2 guys, Josh Trey Wright, Seth Cole, they're 29 and 32 points behind respectively. Braden Perez, Christian Master, both within a race of points of that cutoff. But the wild card race is also very interesting as well. Echo Evans-Ross and Rogel Dorn have the 2 wild cards currently, both 17 and 16 points ahead respectively. Phoenix winner Braden Perez is 16 points behind. And then Travis Crampton and Blaine Keys, they're really going to have to get some points here if they're going to have an opportunity at making the chase, as they're both 54 and 59 behind of the wild card. So they're even further behind in the regular chase cutoff, and they're behind an entire race victory worth of points of the wild card cutoff. So not looking too good for our Vegas winner and Texas winner from earlier this season. But starting on the pole is Andrew Miller, who does not have a win yet. He sits 21st in the point standings. A win here today could put him in that wild card race, give him an opportunity. Alongside him, it's Sebastian Kukulon in the number 52. Great starting position for Kukulon. It's not been a good season for him so far, but a great opportunity for him to get his first win of the season. Brad Stover almost won Dover. He could have an opportunity at putting a bit more of a cushion in his championship fight. Eric Monaco alongside him right there. Our last winner, Drew Webb, to the inside of Dylan Matthews in the number 47. We got Justin Zeidel starting to the inside of Travis Crampton, and then Logan Williams and Chase Buck round out the top 10 starting positions here from Darlington. We'll go ahead and get these guys to roll off, make sure everybody rolls off okay, and of course all 40 drivers must cross the start-finish line under full power in order for a race start to be official, so you'll never see these drivers fail to start before the race begins. And it looks like everyone is, in fact, rolling off okay. So Josh and then Caleb, who do you guys think is going to go to victory lane here in the SCEL 400 at Darlington?
Well, you know, as difficult as this track can be to overtake on sometimes, I feel like in a lot of ways, the big shuffling happens in the pits, and it still opens this race wide open to a multitude of different winners. But I'm going to go back behind the 82 of Seth Cole, and I'm going to pick the 18 of Chris Reynolds to take the Duracell Toyota to victory lane today.
Well, you know what they call Darlington, the Lady in Black, so I'm going to go with probably a pretty big dark horse pick. I'm going to go with the 24, Joey Hightower, to win this race.
Very interesting. He's starting on that inside lane right there. The inside lane is where you want to be, especially through 1 and 2. We saw that in the Sprint Series race. 3 and 4 can get kind of even as the run goes along, however, a very unique racetrack. And of course, we'll have a cycle of pit stops just past halfway around a 40-lap fuel run. The tire wear is not going to be as fast, but it, of course, will still be just as significant as it always is at the end of the run. Here we go, 40 drivers in line to start this 400-mile race. Of course, shorten the 25% of that length. We're Green Flag Racing in the South Carolina Education Lottery 400 from Darlington Raceway. Remember what I said about that outside lane not working? Well, that's the case right there for Sebastian Kukulon. It's going to be the case right here for Brad Stover. Drew Webb, Justin Zeidel, and Kukulon, who did get back to that inside lane, going to get around this 48. Going to watch out for the exit at turn 2 right here. This is always a trouble spot here at the Darlington Raceway. These guys overshooting the corner. And looks like these guys figuring it out for now. Look at Thomas Troxel deep in the field to start this race for our points leader. Not at all what we expected out of the 62 here at Darlington. But it's going to be interesting to see if he can hold on and move up through the field. Drew Webb looking for 2 in a row here in the Wawa Cup Series. He's got a nose to the inside of Andrew Miller, almost putting Miller in the outside wall. And they're side by side down the backstretch here on lap 3.
Good stuff there from Webb. Down to the inside, he's bringing Zeidel with him down low, side by side back there with Miller. As Webb goes into the lead, here comes Kukulon in the 52. Down to the inside, looking for that third position, and as I said in the pre-race, Miller's going to get that run on the outside of the exit of 4, but into 1, he's going to lose all his momentum. Kukulon's going to fly right on by, as will, it looks like, Logan Williams in the 95. They're side by side coming out of turn number 2.
A good run for Logan Williams in this race. You know, Caleb, every time you're in the booth, Logan Williams seems to run fairly well, so hopefully that'll be the case for him. Once again, had a great run at Dover, and trying to get something to go his way. He's 28th in the points coming into this event. But Drew Webb, how about this 99 in Titan Fury Racing going for their second win of the season and second straight win after getting that race victory in a caution-free race at Kansas. And the way things are running right now, Drew Webb also looking for the points lead. Thomas Troxell's dead last in the field right now. And I think the way they currently run, Drew Webb is currently the points leader. How about that for Titan Fury Racing?
That's really crazy considering just how big of a gap Troxell had, but he has dug himself so far into a pit. He has got a lot of work to do. Meanwhile, Drew Webb is just pulling away, looking to go back-to-back. What an incredible run for driver the 99.
Yeah, Troxell definitely didn't have a good qualifying run at all, but of course it's early on, and there you see him going to the inside of Ali Liera, the Daytona 500 winner and Homestead winner this season, and getting into the 39th and potentially the 38th position. But of course, we've got 74 laps a day and a couple of pit cycles to boot, so he could definitely work his way up there as far through pit strategy for the rest of this race if it goes green the rest of the way.
Of course, if we end up with a green flag race all the way, it's only going to be a one-stopper, but if we get a caution early enough, this could easily become a two-stop race here today. So, going to be interesting to see if that, in fact, comes into play. Justin Zeidel, he's another driver, kind of like Logan Williams, who needs a good run here. And trying to get around this 99. He's had a lot of opportunity. His teammate Matt Tuck has done an excellent job there at Grattan Autosport, but Zeidel has not been able to find any luck here in this 51 machine, but he's going to try it right here on Drew Webb. Not able to get the inside to work to his advantage currently. It is difficult to make a pass here, but thing is, we have such long races here that there's a lot of time for these guys to be able to work a pass on the guy ahead of them. I'm impressed with Sebastian Kukulon. Of course, Arizona Motorsports has not at all had the greatest season imaginable. As a matter of fact, it's been the worst season imaginable for those guys, as they are dead last in the owner's points coming into this race. But 31st in points for Kukulon. Even with a win, I don't know if he's going to have an opportunity at the wild card, but trying to do all he can to salvage a good run here in these last 7 races before the cutoff. Back in here, we got Logan Williams, Andrew Miller, Chase Buck with a great run here in 6th, and you got Seth Cole there in 7th. Blaine Keys is 8th. Great run for Keys after winning at Texas and falling behind since that win. Dylan Matthews in the top 10, and then Brad Stover rounds out the top 10 in the 48. But still, 99 leading this field here, pacing this field here at Darlington.
I would imagine it's not. I would imagine it's not going to stay that way as Zeidel gets right to the back bumper.
Second small pack of cars behind these three trying to catch up, including Williams, Miller, or both Williams, my bad, and Chase Buck, and even Seth Cole trying to get up here as well.
Logan Williams right there on the back bumper for Sebastian Kukulon. Of course, Drew Webb, as long as he holds the line through 1 and 2, he's fine. It's just if Zeidel gets a good enough run to peek down to the inside into turn number 1, that's when you could lose a lot of ground, and that's what Drew Webb is trying to hold off right here. But all these guys bunching up right behind him. But it's difficult to get that run. You got to get that run off of turn 4 and then shoot down to the inside. We might see it here with one of these guys. Logan Williams really closing in on Kukulon right there. They all kind of remain single file for the time being. Check in on our points leader. And he is still deep in the field, 38th. He's going to make a couple more positions right here. Philip Torres, Christian Master going to get around those guys. And I'm telling you, Thomas Troxell, this is not at all what we have seen out of him past couple of races. Actually started on the pole the past 2 races at Dover and Kansas, and had solid runs at both of those racetracks, but the 2-time winner doesn't look like he's going to get number 3 here today at Darlington. And that's not what you want. You want to have a good run in this race. You want to be strong here at Darlington, because once we get to that final race on Labor Day weekend and you're in championship contention, you want to run well here, because if you don't run well here in the Southern 500 and you only have, say, a 5-point lead, you're not going to win the championship, and that is how it could end up being. So definitely for the points leader to not have a good run here is definitely a fascinating thing. It's still a long ways left to go until we crown a champion, and of course until we get that cutoff, but that cutoff is coming ever so closer, as we're only going to have 6 races left before the chase cutoff after today's event here at Darlington. Look at these guys, though, all on each other from Seth Cole on up to Drew Webb. They just can't get around this 99 here on lap 14.
And Webb is doing a fantastic job there pacing the field. Zeidel, though, stretching away from Kukulon. Looking to make it a 2-horse show for the race lead here at the Darlington Raceway. As we're on to lap number 15, Zeidel still closing in. Kukulon now falling into the clutches of Logan Williams. Williams around for the final podium spot. Miller down to the inside of Kukulon, and the pole sitter is looking for the 4th position. Looks like he might get it there on the inside. Yes, he will. And here comes Chase Buck in the 32 as well. 10th place pointsman coming into this one, and right down to the inside of Kukulon. Kukulon trying to get that slingshot on the outside, and he's going to get it at the line. Kukulon had it over the 32, but into the turn, Buck's going to get right around him.
And Kukulon is going to get shuffled all the way back. That's unfortunate for him. He's having such a good run. Yeah, but I'd still think that team would probably be pretty confident with the top 10. They need a run like this still.
Well, Kukulon is Kuka gone after that. I can retire now. I know how bad that joke was, but I couldn't pass it up. Here we go for the race lead. Zaidel's got a shot on Drew Webb, but Drew's going to hold the outside enough right here. But that 51, I feel like Zaidel's faster here for this race lead. And Justin Zaidel, it's been a very interesting season for him. He started off fairly strong. His teammate Matt Tuck's had a lot of great runs this season, and a lot of great runs that have actually just not gone his way because of mechanical issues. But Zaidel's also had a boatload of mechanical issues as well. And I feel like this is one driver that could be much higher in the points than what he is. But running second right now at a very difficult place. This is definitely a track that I think favors the drivers and the teams that have the solid ratings. And I think we're kind of seeing that right now here because that Grad Autosport team, I know they're putting a lot into their organization, just like Titan Fury, just like you guys are at Appalachian Motorsports. And definitely no surprise to see him run well. And speaking of Matt Tuck, see where he is in the field. There's Sam Adio, by the way. Matt Tuck kind of midway through 19th, so still a long ways left to go. A good pit stop could definitely move him up higher in the field. But as long as he doesn't have a mechanical issue, he'll have a better run than he did in the past few races because tire went down at Kansas and, of course, had the brake issue at Dover. Both after running top 10 consistently in both of those races. He could be up there with Thomas Troxel if those issues did not happen. Getting around Joey Hightower right here. That is for the 18th position. Nicholas Samadia, they're another guy who has been very strong this season, currently in the 16th position. But I know every time Caleb has been in the booth with us for one of these Wawa Cup Series races, Samadio has not had a good run. Hopefully that changes for him here today. A pretty solid run for Appalachian Motorsports as a whole. And Logan Williams now looking to get around this 51 machine for the 2nd position, as Drew Webb continues to pace this field. Now, we saw in the Sprint Series race when Roy Ribbleton took the race lead. About 4 laps into the race, he led the rest of the event in that 19-lap sprint. Well, Drew Webb's kind of done the same thing. Took the lead very early on and has not looked back since. And this 99 looks like the class of the field here at Darlington.
We'll see if it stays that way after the pit cycle, but Zaidel and Williams closing into the backside of that 99 once again. Again, this is a very tough racetrack to overtake on, as we always say. We said it at Vegas a ton. It's one thing to catch someone, it's another thing to overtake them. And we'll see if Zaidel and Williams are able to at this moment. And I believe, see, where would Troxel be at this particular moment? You mentioned it earlier that Webb would be in position to take the points lead. Troxel's moved his way up to 32nd, though. He's moving his way up through there, though. So
yeah, he's trying.
A good pit stop could be the difference.
That definitely hurt him quite a bit there in that 62 machine, but trying to do what he can here. I don't know if Drew Webb at the moment would take the points lead away, but I am impressed with what Drew Webb has done these past couple of races. You know, he had Las Vegas. You mentioned Vegas there. He started on the pole for that race, and we had that early quick caution, came down the pit lane and had an extended pit stop, and we never saw him again. He had a lot of moments like that early on in the season, but he has found his stride as of late. Obviously driving for a great team at Titan Fury Racing. They know what they're doing in their program, and of course Drew Webb, even though he's a rookie driver, this is his first ever run on any series on the channel, he has done an excellent job and could very well be a threat for this championship, especially if he gets the win here today at Darlington. But Zaidel, as Miller may have a shot here for third on Williams, not able to get that inside lane on him. And everyone kind of remaining in their respective positions. How about Seth Cole, though? You're a driver there, Josh, running 5th. Great run for Seth Cole. He's 32 behind the cutoff, trying to get his first win of the season. And I know he's been trying to get up there. We'll have to see what he can do. Blaine Keys in 6th. Dylan Matthews. Kukulon fell back to 8th. And it's Chase Buck and Travis Crampton. We mentioned Crampton at the top of the show in that wildcard race. He's 54 points behind the cutoff. 54 points behind Rogel Dorn, to be exact, at the moment, who holds that second wild card position. And Crampton trying to get as many points as he can here in these last 7 races to have an opportunity at the wild card, because I don't think he's going to be able to make the top 10 in points the way things are looking right now. Well, speaking of Rogaldorm, we'll have to see where he is running in this race. Obviously had a good run at Dover, but not as
oh boy,
not as good for him here today, as he's 28th, and that's good news for Echo Evans Ross. Brayden Perez is a little bit further up than the one machine in this race, and Blaine Keys, of course, could gain a lot as well in that 55. We got a battle right here between Perez and Tuck. They had a battle at Phoenix, and look at that 54 lose all that momentum on that outside lane. And now, you know, we're so late into the run that the tire wear is so significant. You get stuck in that outside lane, you lose 2 seconds a lap.
We saw Tuck get absolutely freight trained after he got put up on the outside by Joey Hightower. You saw just how quickly those 2 cars gained as Seth Cole shoots to the inside of Andrew Miller. Great pass there. He's going to move himself up to 4th.
Great run here for Seth Cole and Trinity River Racing. There's you guys. You also have Skylar Taylor in this race as well, Josh. And you guys, you know, you're not in the top 10 in points right now, but to be fair, I think a pretty solid season. 14th and 15th in points and a couple of good races can definitely put you guys into contention. And Seth Cole putting together a good race right now in this 82 machine. Trying to close in here on Logan Williams for the 3rd position. 2 guys in the booth, and their 2 teams battling 3rd and 4th, but it's Igor Barretto's team and then Stuart Cratton's team. A couple of international owners right there going after it, but Drew Webb continuing to lead and pace this field. But now the big question is we're closing in here very quickly on green flag pit stops here at Darlington. What do these guys need to do? Obviously, it's going to be a 4-tire stop, but you have to be clean on the pit lane. And if you lose any time on the pit lane, it's not going to go your way. And you definitely want to be one of the first guys to come down because of how significant this tire wear is. If you come down early, you're going to gain a good 3-4 seconds on anyone who comes down a lap later. So going to be interesting to see when that strategy begins. But Seth Cole, a good long-run car in this 82, had a shot there on Logan Williams, but got stuck on the inside off the exit at turn 4. Here comes Dylan Matthews to the inside of Andrew Miller. That's for 5th. Great run for Matthews in this race, trying to put more of a cushion on his chase bubble right there. And he's doing an excellent job there for Hamill Racing Enterprises.
He's plus 22 coming into this race, 4th in the championship standings as far as the chase cutoff is concerned. So fantastic stuff indeed for the Hamill Racing Enterprises team, and Dylan Matthews going a little further back. There's Brad Stover, the 48, comes into this one. I guess he's outside the top 20 in the championship standings, so
Stover's
he's in need of a very good run.
Yeah, Stover's in 8th. He actually was 3rd in points going into Kansas, and then lost all that ground in that Kansas race. One thing I would like to mention, the top 10 are all within 3.5 seconds of the race leader, and then you get down to 11th, 7 seconds off the race leader. There is an obvious gap between the top 10 and the rest of the field. And the slowest drivers in this race, Trey Bartow there in 40th, 17 seconds off the race lead. Meanwhile, Troxel up to 28th. That 62 is slowly moving his way through the field. But with the way the tire wear is, it is massively spread out there. But Justin Zidell on this 51, another opportunity for him. Will he go for it? Not quite yet. This is very unique stuff right here. Zidell doesn't need to pass Drew Webb right here. He needs a good pit stop and get the advantage on the 99 on the cycle, and that could give him an opportunity at getting this race victory. Logan Williams here, Seth Cole, Dylan Matthews. Pretty much anyone in the top 10, I say, has a good shot at winning this race, as long as they come down the pit lane within that gap of the race leader. But Drew Webb has led the most laps here today after winning last week at Kansas, looking to go 2 in a row, looking to become the 3rd driver this season to win multiple races. Caleb, what are the odds that you give Drew Webb of getting the victory lane here at Darlington?
Oh, at a track like this, I don't really know if there is any odds, but yeah, like I said earlier, I think this race is going to be won on pit road. So, like you said, you want to be one of the first to come down. And if Zidell maybe tries them, that could be well.
It'll be interesting to see if Zidell does in fact come down the pit lane early here. Seth Cole still battling with Logan Williams there for the 3rd position. Dylan Matthews here as well, and you can just tell how much slower these guys are going through the corners, and the tire wear is just so significant later on in the run. We're closing in on halfway here in the South Carolina Education Lottery 400. Seth Cole now up to third. You got Logan Williams, Dylan Matthews, and Andrew Miller all in a line right there. Got to give a huge shout out to Blaine Keys. It's not been a good season for him outside of his Texas win. And the same kind of goes for Travis Crampton and both of those drivers who are deep in the wild card race running top 10 here today. But I'm telling you, Drew Webb looking unstoppable here at the Darlington Raceway. But that cycle of pit stops will absolutely determine whether he goes to victory lane or not here today in this SCEL 400.
And it could determine if he has a chance to come out of here with a points lead. Obviously, he has a chance to come out of the point with the points lead if things stay the way they are now. Because Troxel had such a horrible qualifying run and started so deep in the field. And right now, it's like Troxel's up to the 28th position. He was 28th the last time we checked in. See what the standings look like this time. But this is, as we mentioned, it's going to be one on pit road more than likely if things continue. Although, if this thing keeps going green the rest of the way, they come down, get some of those, get some fresh Goodyears and fill it up with fuel, they're going to go back out there and they may just go wild for these battles on the racetrack, which is not something that we've seen so far, at least up front, but third on back, my goodness, there's been a lot of shuffling going on, and I think that's going to be magnified, particularly up front with how spread out everyone is. It's very individual battles at this point. But I think what they're needing is a good set of tires. They're going to come down. They're going to get them. They're going to come back. They're going to get back out there, and it's going to be a fantastic race the rest of the way.
And we are now officially halfway through this race, so the window is open for these drivers to come down the pit lane, make it on fuel the rest of the way, and I'd come down right now if I were any of these guys. But then again, too, you got to consider the end of the run, because if you come down right past halfway, you're going to be dealing with this level of tire wear at the end of the race. And if someone comes down a few laps later, they got a good run, they might be able to get the advantage on you when the time is right. So we'll have to see if that, in fact, happens. No one's come down the pit lane yet, but they're going to be coming down here very soon. Drew Webb going to come down the pit lane here in just a couple of laps, no doubt about it. Zidell, Seth Cole, Dylan Matthews, they're all still staying out right here. Going to peek down to that inside if, in fact, they do decide to come down the pit lane. Like I said, about a 40-lap fuel run, so I think a little bit past 40 laps we'll start seeing these guys come down the pit lane. You mentioned Troxel right there in the 62 machine. He's now up to the 27th position after starting deep in the field, but he's going to lose some ground in that championship battle the way things are currently looking, and it's looking like we may go caution-free once again here in the Wawa Cup Series. And if that is, in fact, the case, these guys who are running up front are definitely going to be at the advantage in the championship. But a lot of things are going to happen once this cycle begins. See if anyone came down this time by. And they're still staying out. They're going to be coming down here very shortly. Fisher G, the first driver to come down. So we'll have to see what this 37 can do, because that last time by, he was 15 seconds off the race lead. I mean, he's not going to get to the race lead with that move, but first driver to make a move right there. Here come our race leaders.
Here come our leaders.
Drew Webb, Justin Zidell, Seth Cole, Dylan Matthews stay out. Williams, Keys, and Buck stay out. A lot of guys stay out there. They're going to go for the fresher tires near the end of the run. This is going to be interesting, but Drew Webb going to lead them down the pit lane here. Going to follow with this 99 and this 51. Make sure they have clean stops. Obviously, it'll be a 4-tire stop for both of these drivers, but they're right on each other, and this 51 has an opportunity at overtaking the 99 on the pit lane.
Really question going for the overcut here. I know you think, like, you'd think that we'll have fresher tires at the end, but by that point, I mean, we're gonna go 30-something laps by the time this race comes to an end. I would have come down and gotten tires with everyone else. So I think this group here in the pits, just whoever comes out of this, if there's not any big battling the rest of the way, whoever's gonna come out of this group first is gonna win the race. And
Justin Zidell in the number 51. He beat your Webb at the line. They're still side by side, and Zidell's going to get the advantage here on Drew Webb. And right there, the pit crew ratings coming into effect here for these drivers. And obviously these two guys are going to have the advantage on the rest of the field. Now the big question is, will the guys who are down now be able to get any sort of advantage later in the run? Still have some guys coming down the pit lane. You got to be careful with the crossover. Sketchy. LJ Semedo, Zachary Fitzwater, Joey Hightower. That backstretch is definitely a sketchy part of the racetrack. Fisher G here in the 37. We'll have to see how much time Fisher G gained here in this 37 machine. Could be interesting to see where he ends up falling in line of all these drivers. Seth Cole's still the listed race leader.
Oh, he's stuck in the pits.
And 50, or should I say the 82, still on the pit lane. He's finally coming off. He may have stayed out at 2 laps longer there, which definitely not something you want to do here at Darlington. Dylan Matthews there as well. Logan Williams in the 95. Blaine Keys. Here comes Idell and they're going to get around these guys easily. So here is the provisional race lead.
Yeah.
Justin Zidell and Drew Webb going after it, and they got fresh tires. They're going to be 31 laps to go next time by Daniel Paulus Jr. getting in the way of the race leaders, and here comes Drew Webb for the top position.
And you know Zidell is not going to be happy at all with Daniel Paulus Jr. about that. But here comes Drew Webb. He's still on the inside. Could he dive it into turn 1? They're still side by side going through this corner.
And Zidell utilizing those fresh tires for now. Almost in the outside wall.
Here comes another lap car.
And Brian Webb now going to get in the way of our race leaders. The other Webb now getting in the way of Drew Webb. Zidell's going to hold the outside lane on the 99. This is going to get dicey here. Still side by side, but Drew Webb's got it this time. He's got the inside lane, and Zidell's going to have to give it to him right here.
There he goes.
Wow.
What a battle.
Third place after that cycle is Travis Crampton. Then you have Seth Cole, Andrew Miller, Chase Buck, Dylan Matthews, Sebastian Kukulon, Logan Williams, and Blaine Keys. The top 10. Sam Adio is 11th. Great run for Mr. Edge.
All right.
Chris Reynolds. And then we got a battle here between Eric Monaco, Christian Vargas, Echo Evans Ross is 15th, Braden Perez, Fisher G up to 17th. Allie Air, remember she was at the back of the field, she's now 18th. Trinity Ida, and then Rogel Dorn. And Skylar Taylor, Brad Stover, Matt Tuck, kind of a midday for Matt Tuck. Ladovic Charette, Christian Master, Roberto Crown Jr., Laura Chung, LJ Cemento, Trey Wright, Trotzel falling back to 30th, Tanner Parton, who had a great run at Kansas, 31st, Roy Ribbleton, Elijah Gordon, Joey Hightower, Trey Bartow, Brady Mardi Gras, Philip Torres, Daniel Paulus Jr., and then Brian Webb a lap down, and Fitzwater 3 laps down. As our race leader is Drew Webb in the 99, looking to get 2 wins in a row. Alliera did that at the beginning of the season. Drew Webb looking to do it himself in the 99, but Justin Zidell, I know he wants his race victory, and don't count out Travis Crampton either, going for his 2nd win of the season. He's got a good shot, as he's only 1.5 seconds off the race lead.
Where did he come from? I know he's been up there towards the front, but he's not been up in their top 5, much less the top 3. And here he goes, trying to close in. There's Zidell going down to the inside of Paulus. But Drew Webb got around Brian Webb, and, well, Webb's got some more leverage from the 13 Mountain Dew dodge, but Brian Webb's closing back in. Could he make things difficult for Drew Webb? That would be interesting here. And you know Zidell's got to be thinking about that. He wants to put himself in a position. If that 13 tries to get back around, that's going to be a prime opportunity for Justin Zidell to steal this one away.
And Brian Webb absolutely has motivation to get his lap back. If we do end up with a caution, he's only 1 lap down currently. So in the tail end, if he gets around this 99 machine, we'll have to see if he can in fact do so. And Zidell kind of hanging right with him right there. Crampton will have to see if he gets around Daniel Paulus Jr. here. That 44 is now also a lap down. Very unique race going on right here. And I don't know. It's looking good for Drew Webb right now. But this race is still far from over. We still have over 20 laps to go here at the Darlington Raceway. It's Daniel Paulus Jr. hard in the outside wall. That's really the first time we've seen that today in the Cup race. Saw that quite a bit in the Sprint Series race, but haven't seen too much of the Darlington Stripes here today in the Wawa Cup Series. But Drew Webb kind of pulling away there from the 13 machine and pulling away from Justin Zidell as well with 23 laps to go in the SCEL 400.
I know Drew Webb probably wants his lap back, but that 99 is way too fast. Plus, I know if something like that did happen, that would probably be pretty awkward once they got back to the haulers in the evening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the good thing for Brian Webb is that he's not related to Drew Webb, because that would be one awkward family dinner if that were the case. But looks like Zidell may end up getting the advantage on the 13 right here. As Zidell trying to close in here on Brian Webb, and if Zidell can get around, he may have a shot in this 99. Zidell's been right behind the back bumper of Drew Webb this entire race and has not been able to get around him, except for that cycle of pit stops. But then Drew Webb got right back around the 51. We'll just have to see if Zidell can close in here and have a shot at this race victory.
And Zidell's probably going to go and give Brian Webb a knuckle sandwich after this one, I would imagine. But if he's not able to get around and get the win today, but we still got 21 laps to go in this one. Zidell's got a shot, but the tires are wearing, and he's running out of time. If he's gonna make the move, he's got to attack now.
Think
don't
about
look
this
now.
Too. Seth Colt came down later than our race leaders. His tires are going to be a little bit better later on in this run. So that 82 could close in and have an opportunity at stealing this one here. If this race stays green. And how about Brian Webb here in the 13? You know what? He might try to go for it here. As he close back in on Drew Webb.
Look out, here comes
closing back in, and don't look now. Crampton also coming in as well. We're going to have a tight battle here soon, especially if that 13 tries to get his lap back.
Yeah, the stalemate has definitely slowed up the 99 and 51, and Crampton's going to have an excellent shot to go at least for second here.
They're all three so close together.
Just as Zidell still trying to get around Brian Webb, but what does he want to do? Does he want to wait and see if Brian Webb makes a move on Drew Webb here? This 13, good run. Very good run. Will he shoot down and try to take his lap back? He's going to be respectful of it right now.
Wow.
You know, one thing I think we are seeing here, and I think we're finally seeing it come into effect here at Darlington, the aggression rating, we used to always set to 100 for all the races back in the day, but now that's the rating you guys choose, and it starts at 40-60, so no one has that high aggression. And that might be what we're seeing with these guys, really not making the move in the turn one as much as we have seen in the past, and that is playing in the Drew Webb's favor quite a bit here. Brian Webb actually lost a lot of ground right there, and if Zidell can get around this 13, and Crampton can get around this 13, we may have a three-car battle for the race win here at Darlington, but still a long ways left to go in this race, even though we've been caution-free. Still takes a while to get around here at the Darlington Raceway. Just think, this is going to be a 125-mile race once we get to the finale in the Southern 500, and even if that goes caution-free, it's still going to take over an hour. This is a marathon race for the finale in September, and we're looking forward to that one, but we're looking forward to see who gets this one. And once again, all these guys right back on each other. Brian Webb to the inside, going to get his lap back, and right there for the race lead. Zidell takes it away from Drew Webb. That looked inevitable. Brian Webb was just all over the back bumper of that 99. He finally got around him, and Zidell is going to give a Samsung phone to Brian Webb after this race. I don't know. Maybe a membership to Snap Fitness or something like that. JBL headphones. I don't know. The JBL headphones would actually be Travis Crampton because this 98 is coming fast on this 51. And don't look now. Here comes Seth Cole within a second of these guys. This is going to get good here at Darlington, as next time by, it's 14 laps to go on the SCEL 400.
Tell you what, I've been
taking a peek.
Been watching that 82 the last couple laps. He has shrunk that gap from a little over 2 seconds to under a second. He is flying around here.
This is good stuff here. I mean, we've been gone caution-free, and the top four are all in each other. As Crampton to the inside for the race lead, and now Zidell's going to lose 3 positions. Because Seth Cole's also going to get around him, and just like that, you do not want to get stuck on that outside in 1 and 2. And Travis Crampton, how about this? He got the win in Las Vegas earlier this season, but since then, it has been a dismal season for Crampton and NS Racing, but Crampton with an opportunity at kind of getting the whole sweep. You know, he won the Sprint Series race as an owner with Roy Ribbleton on Wednesday, looking to get the win in the Wawa Cup Series as a driver. But Drew Webb now back in the picture. He's second. But Seth Cole, like you said, Caleb, really keeping an eye on that 82 machine. Seth Cole's looking really quick right here, and Zidell still in the mix. Even though he got past there, he's still going to have an opportunity at this race victory. And Brian Webb still kind of in the way here on the tail end of the lead lap, waiting for a caution to possibly come out so he gets his lap back. But I know these guys really don't want him in front of them because he's really kind of getting in the way of these race leaders.
And that's probably why they've been able to overtake, is because Brian Webb is right there. But It has made for some thrilling action in the later part of this event. I hypothesized that once we got through the pit cycle, we'd see some battling up front, and that's exactly what's happened so far. Seth Cole all over the backside of Drew Webb. Drew Webb trying to close back in on the lead that he has dominated most of the day, that Travis Crampton now is sequestered in with 11 laps to go. Drew Webb trying to get around that 98, and the 98 trying to get around the 13. And Zidell just trying to keep everybody within arm's reach. 4 cars within a second in the late stages here at Darlington.
And Travis Crampton with a great opportunity, getting his second win of the season, same with Drew Webb. But both Seth Cole and Justin Zidell are going for their first wins of the season, and they are in prime position to have an opportunity. But it's 10 laps to go. In the SCEL 400 at Darlington, will Crampton get it done and kind of shock the world? Now, here's the thing. If Crampton gets this win, it does not give him an advantage over the other wildcard drivers who only have 1 win. It gives him the points, which is what he needs. He needs maximum points. But that 1 win is what locks him into the wildcard race, and 2 wins does not give him an advantage over a driver that has just 1 win, even if the driver with 1 win has more points than him. So the win really doesn't mean much. It's the points that go with the win, and that's what Crampton's going for right here. This 98. Trying to get maximum points. He won't get maximum points because he hasn't led the most laps here today, but it's going to be a great points day regardless if he gets the win or not, and that's going to help him out in having an opportunity at that wild card in the chase. But Drew Webb, he wants the points lead. Seth Cole wants a race victory, and so does Zidell, and they're all on each other behind this lap car trying to get this race victory.
Don't want to wait too long, because the more these tires wear out, the harder and harder it is to get past the car in front. So if Drew Webb wants to make a move, he's going to have to make it as soon as possible.
The same goes for that 82. He stayed out a little later on. I don't want to. I would say it's luck that he's up here, because I would have thought that that would have hurt him a lot more than it did, but it didn't really seem to hurt him at all. He's up here in 3rd place, but he's in the same situation as Drew Webb. Don't let those tires wear out too long. You're not going to be able to make a move at the end of this one.
The thing is, we're getting to the part of the race where these tires are just worn out so much that you really have to work a lap to get it past me. But Drew Webb's going to try it right here. This 99 right on the back bumper of Travis Crampton. Seth Cole there as well. And they're all in the line behind this 98 trying to get this race victory. Meanwhile, I will say Thomas Troxel up to 23rd. Not too bad for him right there. I will say, though, Matt Tuck again with an issue. 2 laps down in that 54. Boy. It's one thing after another for that team. This is 3 weeks in a row with some sort of issue, some sort of mechanical issue, tire, what have you. I don't know what's going on there, but it's not looking good. We're closing in on more lap cars here. Philip Torres and Joey Hightower closing in on the top 4. And Crampton kind of letting Brian Webb pull away here. We got 5 laps to go. We got Seth Cole for second. And he's going to make that one look easy. That'll open the door for Zidell to get around Drew Webb as well. And now we got side-by-side lap traffic in front of our race leaders. This is going to get really dicey.
Crampton takes a peek to the inside of Hightower, heading off into that 3rd turn. But, of course, that outside, more than likely going to get the slingshot coming out of turn 4, and that's exactly what's going to happen with Hightower. That's going to hold up Crampton, and Cole might have a chance. Zidell and Webb is right there.
And they're just all on each other. Webb back on Zidell, and Seth Cole still there on the back bumper of Travis Crampton. My goodness, 4 laps to go here at Darlington. And don't look now. Here's
Logan Williams.
Yeah, Logan Williams, Dylan Matthews, Blaine Keys. These guys have just gotten held up so much by the lap cars that everyone else behind him has closed in. Here we go. Seth Cole's got a shot here at a good run into turn 1.
Oh, baby.
3 to go. To the inside for the race lead goes Seth Cole. He's going to make that one look easy. And coming in late may just work out after all. The overcut at Darlington. It only works if it's a caution-free race, but Seth Cole now starting to put a gap on Travis Crampton. He's got 2 laps to go to race victory here at Darlington.
It would be our first on the season, I do believe, at the Cup level. Seth Cole, 2 laps to go in the South Carolina Education Lottery 400. We'll see what the gap is this time. Exactly half a second. as these cars are packed in tight. Seth Cole is still having to worry about that lap traffic up ahead. He's got a little more leverage now with that big gap between himself and the 98. Here we come through 3 and 4 for the penultimate time.
And he's going to have a lot of leverage when he sees that white flag. But Crampton's going to give it one more shot, but he's so far behind, I don't know if he's going to have an opportunity. Here we go, 1 lap to go. Seth Cole's going to try to put a lap car in between him and Travis Crampton. And that is exactly what Seth Cole needed right there.
Do it.
And you know what? He had just enough time for that strategy to work. He took the race lead with 2.5 laps to go. But Seth Cole going to get his first win of the season. Josh, I'm sure you are happy to see this one. As a commentator in the booth, your driver's going to go to victory lane in the South Carolina Education Lottery 400. Seth Cole wins at Darlington Raceway.
All right. Good stuff.
Hey, Josh is the one that's supposed to be celebrating, Caleb.
How about that?
Can I not celebrate? That was an amazing race.
How about that one? Caution free here at Darlington, but we didn't need a caution to make that one good. Who says you need stages?
Oh,
To heck with that.
Oh.
Travis Crampton finishes second. Drew Webb backing up his win at Kansas with a strong run here at Darlington. The podium finished Idell in 4th, Dylan Matthews, Blaine Keys, Logan Williams, Sebastian Kukul on the top 10. That may be Arizona Motorsports' first top 10 for one of their full-time guys. Then Andrew Miller and Chase Buck rounding out the top 10. Good run for Braden Perez, another driver in that wild card race. Sam Medeo finished 12th right there, and then Fisher G. How about Arizona Motorsports 8th and 13th? Logan Williams, Appalachian Motorsports with Logan Williams and Nicholas Samdia. You guys got a good finish. Trey Wright, don't know where Trey Wright finished. Let's see. He finished 28th, but hey, Josh, you got that win. That's what counts. Woo. How about that one? Caution free again. That's a second straight race, but this race didn't need a caution for it to be good. And this is where the finale's going to be. And if guys like Seth Cole, Travis Crampton, Drew Webb are in contention, they might be threats to win the championship the way this race went. But guys, final thoughts on this one. Seth Cole gets it done. And you know what? He may get into the top 10 in points with this win, but regardless of the fact he's going to have a shot at the wild card, this wild card race is going to be very close. I don't know. Final thoughts, Josh and Caleb.
Well, this wild card race is definitely going to get a lot more crowded as this season goes along. We are now 6 races left before that cutoff. And, well, Seth Cole definitely has to be proud of this run. Going to give him a much better chance of getting into the chase as a result of this. 35 cars finishing on the lead lap. Hightower, Paulus, Tuck, Fitzwater, and Ross finishing off the lead pace. And let's see here. Trey Wright, 28 car, actually finished in the 28th position. That's very interesting to me. But hey, Skylar Taylor, big shout out to Skylar for the top 15 run there coming from the sprints. Man, you've been so close so many times. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations, man.
This is why we love Darlington.
Mm-hmm.
Coming all down to the wire, different strategies coming into play. This is just such a good racetrack, especially in NR. But yeah, congratulations, Josh. That was a really good strategy there.
Yeah, buddy. I was worried about it at first. I thought, like, what are you doing? But it ended up working out after all.
Hey, I was at the NASCAR race at Dover a couple weeks ago when Martin Truex Jr. won, and everyone thought when he came down for 2 tires, at least the people I saw on Discord and, you know, Andrew and I sitting in the stands, we thought, oh, there's no way he's going to win with Ross Chastain taking 4 tires. Well, it ended up working out for him, and that strategy worked out for Seth Cole. How about that? I would like to point out, you know, a couple of guys who need good runs, who have wins. Matt Tuck, Echo Evans Ross, 2 laps down, 3 laps down. I'm not sure what happened. More than likely tire issues. Hopefully you saw that in the corner of your screen when those issues did in fact happen. But tough breaks for those guys right there. And I tell you, you know, some of the guys we saw who ran well early on in the season are not running well consistently now. Even Troxel kind of had a mid-run. These points, you know, I thought we were going to see a big spread, and we're not. And we only got 6 races left to go until the cutoff. Next race, Southern States 400 at North Wilkesboro. that's going to be an interesting one. Another short track. Going to get a little fascinating right there. And it's the last opportunity for someone to lock a spot into the Wawa Winners Showdown. Seth Cole's going to be a part of that at Indianapolis during Indy 250 week, so we're excited for that. And yeah, speaking of Indy 250 week, that begins next week. Next Friday, practice for the Indy 250. We're looking forward to that. But hey, we got IndyCar race on the road course on Monday. We got these guys in North Wilkesboro next week, and we're leading into the greatest weekend in motorsports for the Coke 600 and the Indianapolis 250 2 weeks from now. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. Seth Cole wins the South Carolina Education Lottery 400. Here are the point standings for the Wawa Cup Series. After 14 races, only 6 races left to go until the cutoff, and it's going to be very tight around that cutoff heading in the North Wilkesboro. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Huge thanks to Josh Williamson and Caleb Rose for joining me for the call of this race, and we'll see you guys at North Wilkesboro for the Southern States 400. Congratulations to Seth Cole on his race victory, and I will see you guys later.